It's like this little dirty little bass line.
I don't fucking care. Can we move on to a new segment, please?
Welcome to Just Two Fans, a sports show about sports,
Obviously.
about life,
Because sports are life.
and about just whatever the hell we feel like talking about. So, let's go.
What is up, everybody?
What's good, y'all?
I'm Jay Friedlander. That's Eli Johnson. And super producer Cameron. Say hi, Cameron.
Hi, Cameron.
Look at that. Real consummate professional right there.
Consummate professional. This is the Just Two Fans podcast. Thanks for tuning in. It's Friday night. Y'all hanging out with us. That is dope. We had a pretty crazy week between work, travel, and Eli now has to go to parent-teacher conferences and
Dude.
all kinds of stuff.
Dude, you talk about whiplash, man. I'm like,
You
fucking,
just missed like the entire intro to parenthood and just went.
yeah,
straight
dude.
to-
It was like 10 months ago. I was like, I'm gonna die alone. Right. And now I was like at a parent teacher conference, like, oh, how can I help him in his math? What can I like? Oh, yeah, like multiplication tables. Cool. Like it's crazy, man. Life comes at you fast. Turns out.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
You said
man.
that, I was like, oh shit. Eli's like, I barely even go to parent teacher conferences.
yeah, dude. I know. I'm there, man. I'm being, bonus dadding. I'm just doing my thing, man.
Love it. Well,
Hey.
it's Friday. It's a huge college football week, so we couldn't skip this. Drummer Duck in the chat already. Love it. He says ASU's up 7-6. They are not, because they
They're
just
not
missed
up
the extra
7-6.
point. It's tied at 6s. Cam Rising may be hurt again. Yeah. You talk about a dude made of glass. Cam Rising.
Yeah, Dave fucking is recast Samuel L. Jackson with Cam Rising because he is glass.
Yep. He is glass. So we'll get into college football. There will be plenty of college football talk today on this episode. But as always, we want to start with some of the other stories across the wide world of sports. And that is going to begin with, I don't even remember what we decided to call this segment. So we're going to go with Trackside with Cameron.
I love it, dude. when you asked me what we wanted to call it, I was like, Trackside with Cam sounds fun. So yeah, we got a lot of racing going on. It's a good time of year for it. NASCAR is in their Cup Series, or in Cup playoffs. F1's on a break right now, comes back next weekend, and I'll get a little more into that. And then we've also got supercar racing that's finishing up this weekend at Road Atlanta, with the final race being on the 19th. So next weekend's a great weekend for sports. If you have 18 TVs, you could probably watch them all. But as far as F1, I don't know if you guys saw, Toyota is actually coming back to Formula One after 15 years of absence.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
Toyota Gazoo Racing is going to be a technical and manufacturing partner with Haas
Oh.
starting on next weekend.
Oh, shit.
Oh, like they're in.
Yeah. Like they signed the
Damn,
paperwork.
that's
It was
really cool.
announced today.
That's
I
good.
think.
I'm a Toyota stan.
And Gazoo Racing has been in motorsports since the 50s. So, the biggest question I thought immediately was, what are they doing? It hasn't really been defined, but I think it's going to be other aspects of the car, because Haas is still going to continue their long partnership with Ferrari in power units and gearboxes. So just kind of wait and see how that develops. But yeah, going to be cool to see them as a major sponsor. They already have the logo on the wing and on the car, and they're one of the main title sponsors if you go to Haas's website. So going to be cool.
That's
And
sick.
it's cool to have them back, because they were in Formula One for about 7 years with Panasonic Toyota Racing. And back then, in that 2002 to 2009, they had 13 podium finishes 5 second place, 3 pole positions, and 3 fastest laps. Now,
Damn.
for a small team that was only in for a segment of time, especially during that early 2000s, yeah, I mean that's big. So Haas
man.
getting a
Reliability.
yeah, I mean that's what everybody
Name
thinks
the
of when you
game.
think Toyotas.
Yeah.
I got 2
they'll
in my
run forever.
garage.
Let's go
Yeah.
places. Let's
Yeah.
go places.
I got
Go
2
places.
Toyotas sitting in my garage for that reason.
And then
Yeah, I do too. I'll never go back. I don't think.
they've done incredible things in just auto, but also motorsports. They had a long history of rallying, starting in the 50s, won a handful of things there, and then competed in Le Mans twice in 98 and 99. In 99, their second year, they finished second. And then they also did World Endurance. And from 2018 to 2022, they won the World Endurance Championship. So they make reliable race cars as well as reliable daily drivers. So going to be cool to see them back out there.
Sweet.
Especially with everything that's changing in the landscape of Formula One through 2026. I'm enjoying seeing all of these, common man manufacturers, coming into the fold. Other areas of racing, Talladega was last weekend, which is always a fun race to watch. Eli, you can put your hands down.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Put them down to your side.
Look, it's plain and simple. I'm the best there ever was. I wake up and I piss excellence.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. won last weekend. He was on a
Ricky
60.
Bobby.
You almost had me say it too. Stenhouse Jr. was on a 65 race losing skid, like 65 races, no wins. It was an overtime race. Late in the race, there was a crash that took out 27 of the 49 cars in the field.
Jesus.
And then they finished 3 wide, like for the first 5 rows, we're all 3 wide going into the finish. So it was a cool race to see. But next week is going to be a little bit more exciting because it's a road course. And I don't know what it is, but those big ass, just saloon style cars racing on road courses, bumping and grinding, is probably my favorite thing to see. Robin's racing, brother. So that'll be a good way to get your race car fixed this Sunday before Formula One comes back and it's proper.
What's happening next weekend in Formula One?
So I don't know if you knew, but next weekend, the race is at COTA, the Circuit of the Americas. And that is actually in Austin, Texas. And the day before that,
Austin, Texas?
Yeah, so that's the 20th. On the 19th, there's a Formula One sprint race, but there's also a football game. And it's Georgia at Texas. So if
Georgia lost, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Whoa, brother.
Right? Whoa, brother.
Whoa, brother. Whoa. So it's gonna be a great weekend in Austin. Yeah, that's what I got for racing. It's with
good stuff.
Formula One just chilling and some other things happen. It'll be a good fall to go through. First time hearing this, Drummer Duck. Well, you're not a very consistent listener then, because I say it.
I'm
every week
guessing he's
for the
being
past
sarcastic.
week.
He's one of our most consistent listeners.
He didn't put /S. How am I supposed to know? Okay.
True.
It's the internet. Everything at face
know
value.
your internet etiquette.
Yeah.
Drummer Duck.
I'm banning you.
I don't know this new. I didn't even know about the /S. Like all this stuff that Gen Z and shit. I don't get on anything.
/S.
That's Reddit, bro.
Yeah, that's us.
I don't do Reddit. I will read some Reddit, but I don't
should.
post on anything.
Dude, okay, just real quick side rant on that. What's really annoying to me is how like the meta of podcasting right now is reading "Am I the asshole?" Reddits and reacting to them.
Yeah,
I fucking hate that. Like every single thing is just like somebody reading other people's shit and then being like, I don't know, maybe you're like. And most of the time, the TikTok clip isn't even. They don't even talk about it. They just read the story.
That's stupid.
Fucking annoys the shit out of me. Anyways,
come listen to real podcasters.
Yeah.
Are they in the room with us?
Shut up.
All right, that's what I got for racing,
dude. We've been doing this for what 4 years now.
4 years.
4 years. I think we can consider ourselves real podcasters.
We just
we may not make money
podcast.
off of it. Yeah, we may only have a few listeners. We don't actually know how many listeners we have.
They're loyal.
We're doing it for real. We're doing it for real.
For reals.
For reals. All right. There's so much to talk about in college football this week, so I'm going to breeze through some of these. I know we talked about a couple weeks ago and last week, really, that like we weren't all that excited about the MLB playoffs. I don't know if you guys have watched any, but the playoffs have actually been fucking awesome. The Mets, like what the Mets are doing right now is must see TV every time that they fucking play. The cardiac kids, like every game's a comeback. Like the other day, they were down 1-0 in the 8th, and they hit a grand slam. Like just fucking crazy stuff. It's just been really fun to watch. And then the Dodgers and Padres just went to Game 5. Like so good. It's just amazing. The Yankees and Mets have both advanced to the championship series. So we were kind of joking about a Subway Series, but it's actually possibly going to happen.
You know, I'm like all for that, but at the same time, like New York fans are going to be absolutely.
You know what? If there's anything that they can be a nightmare about, it's baseball, right? Like the Yankees, like you can have it, and then the Mets win. Like that's what I want. I want a Subway Series with the Mets winning.
Fair.
That's what I want.
You know what? You know what I want? This is what I want.
Because I don't want the Dodgers.
Game 7, World Series, Mets, Yankees, bottom of the 9th. Yankees down 1, bases juiced. And then out trots R.A. Dickey. Just a knuckleball and fiend, baby. Just out of retirement.
Yes.
Here he comes, baby. Just close it out. World Series. Here you go, buddy. Whing.
Just a 50-mile-an-hour knuckleball.
Just a 50-mile-an-hour ball. Just struggling to get to the plate. That's all I ever want to see in this.
That would be awesome.
But he comes out to Edwin Diaz's walkout.
Oh, the trumpets, yeah.
So good. My kids, so first of all, my middle Cohen, when that whole thing, he was 3 when that happened, and he is obsessed with that song now.
Hell yeah, he is.
Listen to it
Kids
all
got
the
taste.
time. Oh
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my kids are like metalheads and they listen to EDM and stuff. It's crazy.
That totally tracks with their parents, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's
1000%.
okay.
they're gonna rebel to country in like 5 years.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, so one of my girlfriend's kids, his favorite music is whatever was on Fortnite. So
yeah,
I was just like, okay. I
we're
was like, what's your
getting
favorite song? And he's like, this
I
song.
don't
And I was
know.
like, I don't know that song at all. And he goes, it's from Fortnite. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, we can listen to it. I took forever to find it because Fortnite shit isn't on Spotify really.
Yeah.
But
Yep, that's how it goes. Oh man. Northwestern is killing Maryland right now.
Yeah.
That's bad.
yeah, baby. I love Northwestern.
You didn't pick them.
We picked
I
the
didn't pick
spread,
'em.
though.
I picked them against the spread.
I did not.
Here's the thing. Here's
I
the
did
thing.
not.
I'm not saying I love them to win this game. I'm
Yeah,
saying
no, I
I
got
have
you.
a soft spot in
I
my
feel
heart
you. I
because
feel
my
you.
grandpa went there.
I feel you. Going to West Point next weekend. That's sick. All right. Did you say next weekend? Reunion's in 2 weekends, so you could go to West Point next
can go.
weekend and then come to Reunion.
Gotcha.
So that's baseball. The Tigers and Guardians are playing in Game 5 tomorrow, winner take all. So the matchup in the National League is set. Mets and Dodgers begins on Sunday. Yankees and either the Tigers or Guardians will begin
Man,
Monday.
if you think about this playoff, like it could be Tigers, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers. Is there any more classic of a playoff?
Yeah, just like, no, there isn't a more classic playoff. I mean, maybe like throw the Giants in there, Giants, Dodgers, Tigers, Yankees. But yeah, like you talk about 4 of the biggest franchises in baseball.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. I mean, like
it would be cool
if
the Giants were in there instead of like
the Mets.
no, I was gonna say like 2 teams from New York and 2 teams from California.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah, that would
That'd
be
be pretty
cool.
sick.
All right, that's that. NHL and baseball and the NBA have begun. That's cool. Not much there.
The only reason I knew that the NBA was starting was because Chris told us he couldn't be here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Oh, speaking of which, Chris started a new podcast. Listener, go listen if you're an NBA, specifically Blazers fan. It's called the 1977 podcast. 19:77. I actually listened to it today. It's fantastic. It's Chris. He's
Of course
fantastic at covering the NBA.
Professional.
Yeah. It's great, and he edits it down to 19 minutes and 77 seconds.
So it's the exact opposite of what we do.
Yeah, it's so
thrown
funny.
on for 2.5 hours.
He almost took a dig at us in the episode because he was like, yeah, it's a nice episode. You can like just listen to it on your commute, and like that's and that's it. It'll turn off. That's great, and I think that's the perfect length. Sometimes you like a longer podcast. And he starts backtracking. He knows I was going to listen. It's like, oh, yeah, I mean, like sometimes you like to have a podcast on and then like listen to it later on your later commute. I was like, okay, Chris.
Yeah, you've got like a podcast for pooping and a podcast that you can list over 3 days. Like, you can have both.
Exactly.
It's good stuff. We love our loyal listeners that listen to every second of our 2 hours of rambling.
Recapping games from their championship season. No, he's just talking Blazers. That's all. That's all it is. It's just talking Blazers. He said.
I think you said that because of the title.
Yeah, I know, but
okay,
I'm clarifying.
Good.
He's talking about current events. He's just Spirit of 77 is alive, baby.
Alive in one of the worst teams of the NBA.
On purpose because they're getting Cooper Flag next year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, are they already eliminated or
mathematically eliminated
today?
Today.
Tip off and they're like, well, it's been a good season.
I mean, pretty much, dude. Like, there's been a lot of like conspiracy theories coming out about teams tanking for Cooper Flag. But here's the thing: if you believe those conspiracy theories, you also have to believe the same conspiracy theory that the Blazers will never get the number 1 pick because even when they have the highest odds, they never get it. So it's going to be a big market team. It's going to be the worst big market team. So it's like going to be Detroit.
That's probably true.
It's going to be Detroit or like Washington. It will not be
the Blazers.
It will not be the Blazers.
I believe
small market team for Cooper Flag. No,
that's
no
a conspiracy theory. I fully believe.
Yeah,
being in another small market.
Yeah,
that won the lottery with the 2nd round pick, who's the best player in the NBA.
Yeah, right.
Like they just lucked out. Anyway, yep, NBA and NHL, cool. One thing, wanted to talk about the NFL because the Broncos.
Greg Oden was number 1. Sorry, Greg Oden was number 1. And I think that was the right pick. I still say it. I think it was the right pick for the time. He was a dominant player when he was playing. He just got injured a lot.
It's fair. That's fair. The Broncos started 0-2, 3-0 the last 3 weeks.
Hell yeah.
This last weekend, Bo Nix really started to hit his stride. Broncos beat the Raiders for the first time in 5 years, 34-18. I wanted to talk about this because obviously Bo Nix made headlines during this game and was all over the internet with his little spat with Sean Payton on the sideline. First of all, I'm sure both of you saw it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
First question, initial reaction. What was your initial reaction to that?
To just the video of them fighting or like his response?
Just them fighting on the sideline.
I couldn't care less, man. You're going to have disagreements on the football field. And like they're professionals. This is literally what they do. You're going to confront people. You're going to get in their face. Couldn't care less.
Yeah, I agree. That was a nothing burger for me.
Yeah, I feel like it was the same thing with like Travis Kelce last year. Like
getting into it with Andy Reid.
Yeah, with Andy Reid. Like it's football. It's like you're a professional and like you have an incredibly close relationship with these guys. And 2, like it's football, man. It's intense. Like shit's gonna get intense sometimes. It's a total nothing burger.
Yeah. So I disagree in the fact that I don't think it's a nothing burger. I fucking loved it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Like I think it was awesome to see a rookie quarterback stand up to his well-established Super Bowl winning head coach like that. And it was very clearly a moment where, and they even clarified after the game, but in the moment, it was very clear to me that either Bo changed something or something happened in the play call that wasn't what Sean wanted. And it should have been a touchdown if Troy Franklin caught the fucking ball.
Mm-hmm.
It was a perfect play, perfect read, perfect ball. Should have been a touchdown. Bo should have been upset. It's like, why the fuck are you snapping at me? That was a touchdown.
Right?
You
He
should be
catches that.
celebrating right now.
He catches that, and you aren't saying shit to me.
Right.
You're saying
Yeah.
good read. Like
I also think, and to Drummer Duck's point in the chat, I think Sean Payton loved it because Sean Payton would get in Russ's face last year, and Russ would just stare at him like sad puppy eyes.
Just
Yep.
being his weird ass self.
And then, but Bo fighting back, like I think that goes along. Like you talk about letting the leash loose a little bit on Bo's play calling and what they're going to let him do in this offense. I'm guessing that is a catalyst moment for Bo Nix and the Broncos this season. I fucking loved it. I thought it was
Yeah,
great.
that was great.
And anybody who hates that, like anybody who sees that and is like, I don't like that, Bo should blah 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 blah, whatever. You clearly didn't fucking play sports. Or if you did, you were the guy that rode the bench and didn't really care that you were on the bench. Right? Like you just don't have a competitive bone in your body. And that's okay. Not everybody needs to be competitive, but like in a professional sports setting, especially in football, with the intensity being what it is at all times. I
can literally think of a specific example where I did almost exactly this.
Me
when I was in
too.
football, I played defensive end, and I had 2 sacks in a game, right? 2 sacks, but we were getting absolutely torched through the air. Like at halftime, the kid had like 330 yards, like insane, right? And I like our secondary coach came up to me and was like, you guys need to get more pressure on the quarterback. I said, I'm doing my fucking job. Why don't you tell your defensive backs to cover a fucking fence post? All right. Like, like you just get into it, right? Like, you get intense. It's part of the game.
Yeah, I don't think like Pee-wee football players need to watch that and be like, I need to go yell at my coach next week. It's like,
No.
okay, no.
Yeah.
But
You got to earn that.
yeah, you got to earn it. And even college kids, like most of the time, you need to just sit down and shut up.
Yeah, most of the time. Sometimes you can do it. I think.
But
there's
if you
intensity,
know
right?
you're right, if you are confident and you know you're right, stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
And most good coaches will like that.
Yeah.
So I loved it. Broncos 3-2. Looking good.
did you guys see
hopeful.
Bo's edit
Yes, with his Ferris Bueller
with the
thing.
Ferris Bueller thing?
First of all,
Did not see that.
I think the Ferris Bueller analogy is way off base. Like, I just think that was a bad analogy from the get-go.
I agree.
I get what he was trying to do, but I just don't think it was right.
We also need to talk about Bo's
Like in the interview,
his interview.
he's telling me that he loved me, and I said, "I love you too, Coach." Like,
I said I loved him back.
and everyone, it was funny. The comments were so split. Like half of the people were like, "Yeah, like he was obviously like he knows that you don't air that out. Like you leave that in the locker room. Him and Coach are gonna talk about it." The other half was like, "How can Bo lie to the media like that?" And
Shut
again,
the
those are
fuck
people
up,
who have never
dude.
played sports, and
Man,
like
shut
this
the
is
hell
not
up.
the time for that. Those are those.
Okay, that's not even like you've never played sports thing. That's just like it's a media literacy thing.
Yeah,
That's Bo Nix saying it's none of your business what we said.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just playing it off kind of fun. Like
And
half the room
also,
loved it.
both of them saying like, we're good.
Yeah,
They're laughing about it.
Yeah.
we won.
Right.
We'll worry about it later. Like that's, we'll move past it. So
I don't know how people don't like Bo Nix, I guess is like what I'm coming back to with all of this, right? Like, I just don't get it. He's a very likable dude.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's playing well because it just makes me happy. And watching the Broncos actually have like a future is exciting.
yeah,
Especially like I was watching some, it might have been on the radio this week, but like thinking about how good, especially this Broncos defense is. Like this Broncos defense is starting to look like the no-fly zone from 2015.
mm-hmm.
And then you remember that, first of all, this team wasn't supposed to have any all-pros except for Patrick Surtain. And they have a $75 million cap hit that's not even on the roster.
Yeah.
And they look like this on defense.
Hey, Broncos also made history. Riley Moss, first
Riley
white
Moss.
corner in 22 years to get an interception.
The crackerback.
Jesus. I love it.
He said it. All
I
right.
know, but I
I'm
hadn't
just
heard it.
repeating it.
I hadn't heard that. For you to just throw it out there nonchalantly. Like everybody had heard that already. I don't dive that deep into Broncos Twitter, but I guess I should from now on, so I'm not surprised. Oh God.
It's so good.
That is so good.
Did you see it was either Cortland Sutton or Patrick Surtain was up at the mic, and they got him into this. They were like, what was it like seeing Riley get that interception? And he started saying like he's got an uphill battle because he's white, but he was trying to. He eventually just spat it out. He's like, he's
it was Surtain,
But
it goes back to some of like the interviews you see with like Edelman and some of the other former players when he's talking to like DBs and or quarterbacks, and they're like, "Oh no, if there's a white guy at corner, we're throwing at him all night, like until he's out." Like,
he's good though, man. Riley Moss is legit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he is legit. I love it. The defense is great. Offense is starting to come around. We'll see. We got the battle of the ex-Ducks this week in Denver with the Chargers coming to town. So
and Herbert's healthy. So
and Herbert is healthy with his ankle all healed up. So we'll see what happens. It's a big test for that Broncos defense that's been so stingy, but fun stuff in Denver. All right, college football time. Last week was supposed to be a dud, right? Everybody looked at last week and like, if there's a week that you don't need to watch college football, it's probably this week. And then the games fucking happened. Last week is what makes college football the greatest sport in the world.
Dude, it was so fucking good.
It was incredible from the moment that it started until the end of the fucking night. It was so fucking good. Insane. Obviously, you had the major upsets, but there were upsets all over the place. There were crazy games. Just the best stuff. I love it.
Yeah, man. It was just like one of those weekends where you scroll through like the scores and you go, oh shit. Oh shit. Like 10 times. You're just like, oh, okay. That happened.
Yep. Let's just go through it, right? We got we'll start with the Big Ten. We'll go through our spreadsheet like we usually do. And then obviously we'll stop and talk about the big games that happened.
Did we get a new follower?
We did.
Hey, welcome to the community. Who is it? I saw a notification, but I don't see the person.
I don't know. It didn't stay popped up, so I don't know.
Oh, well. We'll figure it out later.
Thanks for following. That's awesome. You're great. The weekend started. Luckily, I was talking to Cameron last week. I said I don't really like Friday night football games because like it just doesn't feel right. Like when my team's playing on Friday. I'm pretty glad that Oregon played on Friday because Saturday had some like bad juju going on.
Yeah, dude, me too.
So it started with Oregon, Michigan State. This game was kind of weird, right? Like, so Eli, you weren't watching, right? You had family stuff going on.
Yep.
So in the first quarter, it was 7-0 after 1, and you texted us and you said, like, where should my worry meter be? I can't watch. And I was like, it should be at a 3 because this game should be 21-7 right now.
Yeah.
And that's where we were, right? Like, if you take away the 2 mistakes from Dillon Gabriel, this is an absolute blowout.
And that's kind of been a theme, right?
At least the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, against UCLA. I would even say against Boise State, although he didn't make as big of mistakes.
They weren't as costly, but
yeah. But like Yeah, man. You can't do that this week. Tell you that much. I was able to watch the second half. I think I got into the second half, and
It's about when you texted us. Yeah.
yeah. Tell you what, man. They look good when I started watching.
They look good the whole night, except for those 2 picks. And the 1 4th down, like in the first Michigan State drive, when they got the huge 4th down, like for 40 yards down into the inside the 10, and then eventually fumbled it, right? That's why I said it should have been 21-7 in the first quarter. Michigan State should have scored there. But other than that, Michigan State was nothing until the 4th quarter when the backups were in.
Yeah, I mean, they were completely outmatched when I started watching. It was like,
and it was like that.
I looked at it, I turned on the game, and I was like, oh, this is why Jamie was at a 3. Like,
and I was only at a 3 because I was like, is this just going to be one of those nights that the ball just doesn't bounce our way and ever?
Yeah.
That was the only reason I was even remotely worried, because if you just watched any individual play, Oregon dominated literally every position on the field.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. Yep. Not a whole much. Like, I don't have a lot to say. Jordan James must have been listening to all the feedback out there that the explosive runs were concerning, because he was running with his fucking hair on fire.
Hopefully, you can do that 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, we need it this weekend. But he busted out a 41-yard run last week. Just good stuff, all in all, from the whole team. There were a few drops, like Dillon Gabriel clearly wasn't on last week, and he was still 20 of 32, but like it was not his sharpest effort.
Yeah. 20 of 32 for Dillon Gabriel is a bad game, though.
It's a bad day.
Yeah.
It's a bad day. But they ran for 213 yards, passed for 264. The defense was absolutely suffocating. That D-line, ooh, buddy. Jordan Burch, I hope he's healthy. I know there was a scare on Oregon Twitter yesterday saying that he got carted off from practice and stuff, and that apparently isn't true, but they're so secretive with that shit. Who really knows? But Jordan Burch was wrecking havoc in the backfield on like every fucking play. It seemed like just the D-line is something else. So yeah, everything about this was great. Oregon won, didn't cover again by 3 points.
Fuck.
So I guess we just have to stop picking Oregon to fucking cover. I don't think they've done it yet this season.
I don't think so either.
They did they against Oregon
they
State?
might have been.
I think they did against Oregon State.
Yeah.
I think they are one. They're 5-0, 1-4 against the spread. Yeah, so that's that. No more notes. Obviously, big game coming up this weekend, and we will get into that soon. UCLA at Penn State. This game was not as close as the score might indicate. This was an absolute curb stomping by Penn State.
Yeah.
27-11. We all picked Penn State to win and UCLA to cover, so we won that. Good for us.
Look at us go.
Purdue at Wisconsin. Purdue's real bad.
They're really bad.
Really, really bad.
So I was like, my thought process was like, Wisconsin's like kind of a mid team. Like, they're not bad, but like they're kind of a mid team, and Purdue is really bad. So that's why I picked Wisconsin to beat the spread.
Yeah, and you were right. You and Chris were right. Cameron and I were not.
I don't know what we were looking at before that, because that game was oof.
It's bad. Oof. Purdue might not win a Big Ten game.
Yeah, they may not.
Yeah, I think I was just kind of going off of what Wisconsin had done the previous 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And, 12's a lot for them. And
it's fair. I mean, Wisconsin has looked very mediocre.
Yeah.
And Purdue has shown flashes in games of like being a decent team. Not a good team. I don't think they've ever shown flashes of being like a good team. But they've shown flashes of like being competent.
Competency.
They did not against Wisconsin. They didn't do that.
Yeah, no. This was a curb stomping from the jump.
Yeah.
Iowa at Ohio State. Ohio State just dominated every phase of this game. It was 7-0 at half, right? So this continues the trend that Ohio State just doesn't start fast, which again is not surprising.
Yeah, I mean, with Chip Kelly on staff, like that tracks.
Ohio State had a 21-point third quarter, and after that, it was all over. Couple notes from this game. Obviously, Ohio State dominant on defense, shut down Iowa's offense that was showing some promise, especially running the ball, held them to 116 yards on the ground and 110 yards passing. The one thing that I took from this game, and we'll get into it in our preview coming up for this weekend, but Will Howard, if you pressure Will Howard, he is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like not okay. Like he's not good. If he is in a true passing situation and you get him under duress, he's bad. So that's going to be a key for the Ducks this upcoming weekend. But other than that, this was another dominant win by Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. He's like, fuck, what's his name? Hold on one second.
Where do you play?
Bo Callahan. He's Bo Callahan.
Bo Callahan.
Watch him after I sack him 4 times. Bo Callahan.
Bo Callahan. That is a draft day reference for those of
Yeah.
you who are not catching on. Wild, a great movie. It's totally
Fantastic.
unrealistic.
Totally. I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's a lot of fun.
It's a fun movie that I watch before every draft.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that's what I want to happen in the draft.
See, that's why I think it's a great movie, because like that's the most access we've gotten to the draft in a movie, because like they filmed it before like the draft, but there.
I saw a
And-
comment on like a TikTok of that movie that was like, it was like, no, this is actually very realistic. I'm an NFL scout and I go to everybody's birthday parties to see who shows up.
I'm going to lose my best bet too, by the way.
What was your best
Tonight.
bet?
I changed it to Utah because I saw Cam Rising was fucking playing, and then he got hurt on the second play from scrimmage.
You
He's still
doubted
playing.
Dilly. He's still
His
in.
knee. I know, but his knee, he's hobbling. Like
You
he's not-
doubted Dilly.
Anyway, fucking A. Indiana at Northwestern. Man, Indiana's fun to watch. I don't know what they're going to do from here on out. Their schedule gets significantly tougher moving forward. But like this team that Eli had as the worst in the conference,
Oops.
this is what I should have fucking had my slap bet on. Fuck me.
Oh, too bad you had to go with Illinois.
I wasn't much higher on Indiana. So
yeah.
anyway. But they're
To be fair, I don't
6-0.
think anybody saw this coming.
They've
I
scored
feel like Indiana fans didn't even see this one coming.
No. There's no way they did.
Yeah.
No way. And if somebody says they did, they are lying to you. I don't think the coaching staff even probably saw this coming. It's a
Like,
brand
oh,
new
shit.
staff. Like I really don't think the schedule gets way tougher. You got Nebraska coming up next weekend. They're on a bye this week. Then Washington. Then at Michigan State. Then at home against Michigan. Then at Ohio State. So the meat of their schedule is coming up, and like they're going to come back down to earth. Like this Indiana to the playoff talk.
Like Syracuse last year.
Like everybody, yeah,
Syracuse had that really hot
exactly
start.
like that. Probably almost the exact same start
Yeah.
too. Like 6-0, great. But yeah, but it's fun for now, and we like
Yeah.
to talk about it. So good for them. Michigan at Washington.
Yikes.
Gross.
Yikes. Michigan has no offense.
0, dude. They got nothing. in the tank.
I shouldn't say nothing because Donovan Edwards is legitimately a good back. But when you're that one-dimensional,
Yeah.
like it's really easy to play defense when you know what the other team's doing on every play.
Yep.
Unless it's against Ashton GT.
Unless it's against Ashton Genty. In that case, you give up 3 chunk plays, and then the team that you're playing 4 weeks later says that you struggle against the run. We'll get into that. But yeah, this is what's going to happen to Michigan this year, right? Like it's going to be kind of gross. And then if they give up any substantial amount of points in the second half, they're going to lose.
Yep. They have no way to come back either.
Yeah, they don't. And I mean, they had the lead going into the fourth quarter by 3, but they had a lead. But they were one-dimensional. Washington was up to the challenge. And this again is going to play into what my preview is for this coming week. But Big Ten teams that have to travel across 2 time zones or more are 1-8 this season.
Yeah, I saw that.
This was going to be a storyline going into the season. I think it's more of a storyline than people thought it would be. Yeah, Michigan is just one of the first to fall. Next to fall, almost at the exact same time, USC at Minnesota, and USC goes down, blows a 7-point fourth quarter lead, and loses by 7 to Minnesota on the road.
You marked us correct on all those in our spreadsheet.
Yes,
I was
I
like,
did.
wait a second.
Yes, I did. So I need to change that.
No, Cameron just did.
I changed
Well,
it. I didn't change the
I need to
numbers.
change our records.
Yeah. Yeah, man. USC is inconsistent, right? And I think it has to do with like young quarterback, right? Like a young but improved defense that's still not there, right? They're still not there. And going against a Minnesota team that is also wildly inconsistent. And you just caught each one on the right day, and here we are.
Yep.
Right. Like I was watching this game and I was like, I don't really have a lot of takeaways from this game. It's just one of those games. Right. Like I'm not going to get high on Minnesota because they beat what I think is a pretty good USC team. I'm not going to get low on USC all of a sudden. Right. Like it's just one of those games.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, this shit's going to happen this year in college football. I think it's pretty clear that, like, I think there's a couple teams that have a chance of getting it done and remaining undefeated, but I think every team in college football, and obviously there were several this week, and we'll get into the rest, but I think every team out there has the ability to just lay a stinker out there.
Yep.
Or have some crazy happen in the fourth quarter and they blow it.
I will be not super surprised. I will be not shocked at all if we don't have an undefeated team this year.
Oh no, I would almost bet that we won't.
Yeah,
like if you were giving me odds, I would put the odds on there.
People are already comparing the season to 2007, which is crazy because 2007 was the greatest season of college football ever.
I mean, there are parallels already, for sure. For sure. Sorry, I'm adjusting our record.
Unfortunately, we were on the wrong side of that in 2007.
Yes.
As Duck fans, fucking Dennis Dixon's fragile knee.
Don't talk about it.
Dude, I will never forget that day. Because, I was in the arts dorm. And the gasp heard in the arts dorm when Dennis Dixon went down was like every room was watching it. And then people were crying in the hallways because Dennis Dixon was going to win the Heisman. Oregon was going to win the national championship, and it wasn't going to be close.
It wasn't. It was not going to be close.
And then that happened, and everyone knew. It was over at that point. God, I'll never forget it. I was walking around the hallways just stunned. in my dorm. The worst.
I ate so many cheesy grillers that night.
Dude, the cheesy
Hamilton Dining
grillers,
pulled me out of
dude,
that pit
Oh,
that I was in.
Oh man, I
Cheesy
smashed
grillers
those cheesy
and
grillers.
those
2
milkshake
a.m.
things.
drunk as shit.
Yeah.
Just going to get those cheesy grills, and then the next morning go to get the Mongolian grill waffle.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Mm.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Tebow won a Heisman because Dixon got her. Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Oh, for sure.
No doubt. It was going to be a runaway Dixon or Jay Stu Heisman. They were 1-2. And Oregon wins the title.
Yep.
For sure.
If Texas
two
gets
ways
by
about it.
Georgia, it may happen. It might. Right. But like I could see Texas dropping a game.
It's Steve Sarkisian, dude. Like, I'm not going to bet on him
Nothing's
going
guaranteed with
undefeated
Sark.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sark, dude. He'll drop some dumbass game somewhere.
He'll lose to Kentucky or some shit. And,
Yeah.
I don't even
In
know
co-
what their schedule
In college
is,
football
but
25, Kentucky is the bane of my existence as Tennessee.
I bet.
I lost to them in my first season, and I struggled super hard with them in my second season. It was miserable.
I bet.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Where were we? That was USC, Minnesota, Rutgers at Nebraska. Nebraska won by 7, which was the spread. So we have another tie on our spreadsheet. But again, Nebraska just kind of controlled this game.
Yeah.
Rutgers had a comeback effort. It was 14-0 at halftime. Nebraska didn't score in the second half again, right? Like, this is the same story that happened against Colorado. Colorado couldn't come back in that one. Never really got off the bus against Nebraska, but Rutgers tried to make it a game in the second half, but Nebraska really controlled this one.
Yep.
Right. That's the Big Ten. In non-Big Ten stuff, shit was crazy all over the place. Missouri turns out is a total fraud.
Either that or A&M's back, baby.
I don't think so. I think Missouri
The cult
is
is
a fraud.
back.
I think Missouri is a fraud.
I think so too. They were a flash in the pan, unfortunately, because I like Eli Drinkowitz because he has a great name.
They started great, right? Like 2 shutouts in a row, but it was Murray State and Buffalo. Had a close one against Boston College, had a close one against Vanderbilt, which both those teams I think are better than we thought they would be at the beginning of the year. Obviously, Vanderbilt is, which we'll get to that. But I did not have them getting blown out by 31 points at Texas A&M.
No, not even a little bit.
And I don't think it was even that close. Honestly, like, this game was just a train wreck for Missouri.
Yeah.
Total train wreck.
I think this was a morning game, so I don't think I got to watch it.
You did not. It was an absolute disaster.
I saw the score and I was like, yikers.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Yeah, listener, I was at a funeral Saturday morning, so I didn't get to watch a lot of his games. So if I'm a little quieter today.
You missed
Jamie's-
you missed a good weekend, but it is what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, thanks, Grammy.
How dare you?
Had to have your funeral that day, huh? Selfish.
So yeah, my grandpa was smart enough to have his on a Monday after a football
Yeah,
game.
but-
so.
Yeah,
but
God.
like if you're gonna have a funeral and you looked at the college football slate, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, week 6 is a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's true. It would have been the week. But
Just not
turns
this
out-
week, but turns out it was a crazy week. The crazy week continued in the SEC with Arkansas beating Tennessee.
Ooh, Tennessee got exposed, man.
Arkansas didn't look
Yikes.
great, but the Tennessee offense was anemic at best.
Yeah. Nico looked terrible.
Terrible. 17 of 29, 158 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks, but he looked lost.
Yeah, he looked like he didn't know what to do with the
Yep.
football.
And Arkansas completed a fourth quarter comeback. They were down 14-10 going into the fourth, and Talon Green got hurt. Their quarterback got hurt. Like, it looked like, oh, Tennessee's going to hold on to this one. Backup quarterback comes in and leads a game-winning touchdown drive. It's just like,
you gotta
this
love
week-
college football,
Oh,
man.
you have to love it. You have to. It was so good. Nico looked like a freshman. Yeah, I mean, this one, it was a bad. I mean, if Tennessee could pick a team to have a bad game out of Nico, they probably would pick Arkansas, but maybe not that bad. And then obviously the most shocking result of the weekend is Vanderbilt beating Alabama for the first time since Nick Saban's first year, I believe. Wow. This is shocking.
Yep. That I tell you what, that Dylan Pavia kid, he can straight sling the rock.
He can sling it. The thing that shocked me about this game was it seemed like Vanderbilt could just run the ball whenever they wanted to. Like, especially at the end of the game, it was like, okay, you need a couple first downs to ice this thing.
Mhm.
And they were running the ball all over that defense. I did not expect that at all.
No, me either.
But I love it. This is why you love college football. Kalen DeBoer is getting absolutely shredded by the Alabama
Bama
faithful.
fans are down bad. After
They are
that
down
loss.
bad.
They are
It happened
finding
because of his
Daniel.
shirt. Like,
Yeah,
that's why they lost.
that schmedium garbage.
The medium t-shirt.
athletic.
I thought that
t-shirt.
was just like one TikTok. No, that's like a real
It's the
thing.
whole fan base.
They're
being-
actually mad about his shirt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Nick Saban, or Football Jesus, as we call him, he wore a collared shirt every time on the sideline. And if you don't do that, then you're going to lose games to Vanderbilt because you're not Football Jesus anymore. I just saw like the Facebook memory of us driving across the country and me having my SEC rant.
Your SEC rant as Nick Saban.
Yeah.
We need to put that on our socials at some point.
Yes, we do, because it's epic. And you're in a UT shirt, which is even.
I am in a UT shirt because we had
it's
just
even
gotten
better.
we
I'm
just
a
left
fucking
Austin.
favorite, dude.
We were driving through Louisiana. We had just left Austin. Jamie and I are delirious as fuck because we've been on this road trip for 10 days. And just we're talking about the SEC. We got all riled up.
Dude.
Got
Talk
all
about
riled.
SEC football with a lip full of jerky chow.
Jerk and chow, man.
Jerky chaw.
That's
So
how I
good.
scheduled my pit stops on my journey across. I was like, well, we're out of jerky chow. Time to stop.
Time to stop. Need some jerk and chow.
Need some jerky
I
chow to
had
tea break.
Unbelievably unhealthy amount.
There was so
of
much
jerky
sodium in our
chow.
bodies.
Oh my
Jerky
god, I
chow
was
and Red Bull.
90% salt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And I wonder why I have high blood pressure now.
Nary picked up a water.
Just Monster Energy drinks and jerky chow.
Dude. From the Vandy game, did you guys see that they owe Alabama $100,000?
You
Yeah,
know, the SEC $100,000.
Yeah.
it goes to Alabama though.
It goes to Alabama.
That is so stupid.
So they cut the goalposts into sections and they auction them off.
Nice.
I mean, that's what Tennessee did when they beat Alabama last year
Yeah.
or 2 years ago.
Last year.
Vandy students had to walk further with the goalpost to throw it in their river, though. So it
Like,
means more.
they walked like 5 miles. That's crazy.
And the best part is
Dedication.
they walked down Broadway,
Right down the middle
peak
of Broadway.
bar hours, and they had a police escort.
Oh,
That's
that was like the
hilarious.
best call on the TV broadcasts. Like, there's going to be thousands of bachelorette parties getting interrupted by goalposts going down the street.
Yeah, they were like weaving in and out of cars to like hoist it over. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Good for Vandy.
Yep.
The program that's been so down bad, they deserve one.
Oh, like I saw some reaction videos of like lifelong Vandy fans, which there are a handful,
There are dozens
actually.
of us. Dozens.
But can you imagine, man, like being a fan of such a bad program for that long that's really never had anything good? Like it's been bad in Colorado for the last 2 decades for the most part, but like it came from somewhere really good.
Yeah.
Like Vanderbilt's just never been good at
Yeah.
football. And then to have a win like that, man, I can't even imagine that feeling. Really happy for them. Really happy that Kalen DeBoer is struggling. Just as with the Husky connection.
Mhm.
Husky fans are happy about it, so I'm not happy about that. But
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. but
Yeah, I mean, especially when you think about how much money Vanderbilt makes. Like they've just been like doing nothing because they're a private university. I just looked it up. You know how much it costs to go there for 4 years on average? Like
100,000.
all in, Jamie?
100,000. You said 100,000.
That's at 100,000.
I'm gonna say like 300,000.
$337,000.
It's an elite school. Like
Yeah.
it's a great school. It's just not a good football school.
Nope.
But they beat Alabama, and they will hang on that forever.
That's all they need. You know, they
and
got
Kalen
that.
Kalen DeBoer is going to have that forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna have that blemish
He'll wear that
the
forever.
next 2 years while he's still the coach at Alabama.
Did you guys see? I know you saw it because we talked about it in our group chat. Malachi Moore's fit that he had at the end of this game.
Dude,
Alabama
Crybaby
quarterback.
bedwetter.
that dude's got like that's more than crybaby. That dude's got some issues.
Anger
That
issues.
is, that is deep rooted, some like real anger problems.
Yeah, that's like you need to go get help.
He threw like a fit that my 4-year-old throws.
But probably for longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was doing that kind of shit for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I understand being emotional about the game and getting frustrated.
Yeah.
But like that shit's unacceptable. And you know, like if that was Saban, that guy's like he doesn't get a wave off the guy coming onto the field to sub him out. That doesn't happen. Like he comes off the field and Saban benches his ass for the rest of the year. Right.
At least, so that's what I was going to get to. If you're the head coach, like let's just say you're Kalen DeBoer, and that happens, and even if you weren't aware of it at the time for whatever reason, but you see it after the fact, what do you do? Like, what is the punishment for that?
I'm benching him at least for a game for sure. I'm saying nope, you are ineligible for this game. That is unacceptable. That's not how we represent our program. This is the biggest program in college football and the biggest program in college football history, probably. Like you don't get to act like that and still play on this team. So you need to get your shit together. And I'd probably lay out a list of resources for him. Like this is how you come under control. I like that you have fire. That's unacceptable.
Not like that.
That is so you are not playing next game and see how he reacts. If he fucking freaks out again, he's cut. You know, if he says, "You're right, I'm sorry, I'll get it under control. Let me check this out." You know, you can have conversations, but he's at least benched for a game, probably 2 or 3, honestly, because like if I'm a coach, like that's not the culture I want. I don't want that at all. And if that's going to be the attitude on my team, that's toxicity. And you can't have that, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Like you need cohesion on defense. You can't have that kind of animosity. So and toxicity. So he's benched at least a game, maybe 3. And then I see how he reacts to that and see what he does and see if he earns his spot back.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, I was going to say at least start with a half, right? Like, I don't know, again, like, is this his first offense? Did he just have a really bad day? Like, maybe there's something going on behind the scenes. I don't know the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things outside of that, but just face value, what I saw.
Yeah, face value. That the first thing that I was going to say is, like, he can't play next game. Like, I don't know how you let him back on the field at all. But anyway, I just thought
the fact that he like waved off the sub and was like, "I'm not coming out," and then kept acting.
I think that was it for me. Like I think it's one thing if you're having a visceral reaction to something,
Mhm.
and it's out of character, but then like your coach is pulling you because of what you're doing, and you blatantly disrespect that. Yeah.
Agreed.
Problem.
Yeah. That's when I come onto the field and I pull you off physically.
Yeah, I grab you by the fucking
I'll
face mask.
take the 15-yard or
Yeah.
10-yard penalty or whatever it's going to
I'm-
be. I've already lost this game. I'm pissed. Like, you're off the field. You can't do this.
I'm dragging you by the face mask to the sideline.
Yep.
And if you do anything other than walk to the sideline with me, you're off the team.
Yep.
Yep. Agreed. Other notes in the SEC, Florida beat UCF. No real surprise there.
No.
It was kind of a ho-hum game. Again, Florida didn't score in the second half. UCF tried to make a comeback effort, but couldn't do it. No shocker there. Into the Big 12, West Virginia goes into Stillwater and destroys Oklahoma State.
Dude, this made me so upset. I've been picking West Virginia every goddamn week, and they keep disappointing me. And then the fucking week I don't, they're like, "Oh, actually, we're gonna play football now, fuckers." I love you.
And Oklahoma State falls to 3-3 and 0-3 in the Big 12.
Oof, buddy, what a mess.
What a mess. At what point do you start talking about Mike Gundy's job?
I don't know. I think that's really hard. You know, you've had so many good seasons with him, including last season, right? I think if I'm the AD, I'm not even considering it yet.
But
right?
I get it from the AD perspective. They're going to fall to 0-4. They're playing BYU at BYU this week. Like, I just don't see this being the week that they turn it around. Actually, that's next Friday, but still. I get it from the AD perspective. How patient is T. Boone Pickens going to be? Because that's where the pressure is going to come from.
Pretty. I think he's going to be pretty patient. Like, again, like they were in the Big 12 championship last year, right? So that gives you grace. You know, like no matter who, right? If they come out and they fire him after this bad start, they started off not great last year too, right? Like they didn't lose the games that we're talking about, but they
lost to South Alabama. So
they lost to South Alabama, and then they went to the Big 12 championship. So like, you're not panicking, right? I don't have any, like, I'm not having any panic buttons on Oklahoma State yet. Now, if they have a bad season this season and they come out flat next season too, maybe the game has passed him. Maybe it's time to start thinking about moving on. But like right now, not even remotely crossing the mind.
Good point by Drummer Duck in the chat. T. Boone Pickens is very dead and has been
5 years ago.
5 years.
He's got to say though, he's got to play.
Is the T. Boone Pickens estate okay with it? I guess, like, my point was, are the donors okay with it? And T. Boone Pickens is famously the biggest donor for Oklahoma State.
I think he's famously the biggest donor for college football.
Yes.
Single donor.
I think that's true. Never mind. He's going to be, I guess Mike Gundy's going to be there however long he wants. So
I think he's going to have a couple of these
that's okay
style of seasons put together before.
That's fine with me. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Oklahoma State not being very good. That's good for the Buffaloes.
Yeah.
Works for me. Kansas at Arizona State. This was another one that was just a really good football game, but what the fuck is going on in Kansas? This team was supposed to be one of the 2 or 3 teams competing for the Big 12.
I don't know, man. They just don't. They lost their coach. That was the biggest thing.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. That was Duke.
They didn't lose anything. They got their quarterback back. They had their running back back. They got their coach back. Like, this team was supposed to take off.
I was thinking of Duke.
And they're 1-5.
Yikes. I don't know. College football, man. You never know.
Yep.
Fucking love this sport.
I fucking love it. It's so good. Fucking love it. And then another one to end the crazy night, Texas Tech at Arizona. This wasn't on our list. Oh, it was on
Yeah,
our list.
baby. Yeah, remember
Um,
when I said I picked Texas Tech because I said I think Arizona's going to win this, but Texas Tech has kept consistently done the opposite of what I think is going to happen.
Yep. And since Texas, like I keep just thinking back to Texas Tech should have lost to Abilene Christian.
Yeah.
But since that, they got blown out by Washington State and then have rattled off 4 wins in a row. Granted, it's against North Texas, Arizona State, and Cincinnati, which are Arizona State and Cincinnati, I guess maybe not, but those were supposed to be 2 of the worst teams in the Big 12.
Mhm.
Texas Tech is every one of these games is close except for that North Texas game. So I'm still not bought in, but they are 5-1. So that's that ACC play. Syracuse at UNLV. This game took place on Friday. Syracuse came away with the upset. This was a fun game. I don't know if you guys watched it.
I
But
did
it was
not watch it.
It was fun. It was in, I believe it happened in overtime. Let me
Oh
double
yeah,
check
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I think I caught like kind of the end of the
It
game.
was overtime. Yep. They rallied to force overtime at the end of the game and then won it with a touchdown after UNLV got a field goal in the first overtime. So fun game there. SMU at Louisville. SMU comes away with another ranked win.
SMU legit.
SMU may find their way to the ACC championship, which is
That's
weird.
wild.
Weird to say. Way too early, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the rest of the ACC, what are we talking about? We're talking about Pitt, maybe,
Clemson.
Clemson, obviously, and Miami.
Yeah. Clearly not Florida State.
Clearly not Florida State, who got absolutely rolled by Clemson. Clemson didn't even have to show up in the second half, and
Yeah.
it was pretty clear to me that they just mailed it in the second half, kind of like what Oregon's done the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then another crazy one, fucking Miami, dude. This
2
game was
weeks in a
so
row.
frustrating.
2 weeks in a row they've gotten bailed out.
This game was very frustrating. Obviously, epic fourth quarter comeback, but when it's a fourth quarter comeback that should not have been able to happen, it's very frustrating.
As California's online dynasty coach, I was furious, livid, throwing shit at my TV.
It was bad.
Genuinely,
that
like
targeting call is astonishing.
Horrifying officiating.
It was the little, like if you had a video definition of what targeting is, it was that play.
Yeah, literally everyone, like rules experts, all the color commentators, everyone was like, yeah, it's targeting. It's clearly targeting. The only people who didn't think that was targeting were the refs. I even think Miami thought it was targeting.
Yeah.
To be really honest.
By their reaction afterwards, I would say they did think it was targeting.
And then the NC State shit last week. Miami fraud?
Virginia Tech is who that was.
That was right. Virginia Tech. Sorry, not NC State. Virginia or Miami fraud?
Yeah.
Do you think Miami's a fraud or are they still legit?
I'm not going to say they're a fraud because it was a 21-point comeback. And even after that missed targeting call, they had to go 96 yards to score that game-winning touchdown at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I can't say it's fully fraudulent, but they have definitely been bailed out 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. I mean, both of those calls end the game, right?
Yes. That's
because
the hard
that
part.
Miami call, like, that ends the game.
Miami should be 4-2.
The targeting call ends the game. Virginia Tech call ends the game. Miami loses. I think they're talented enough to not be frauds. They're just getting real lucky on their calls right now.
Yeah.
Like it's like I don't want to call them a fraud because I think they're still a good team.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like
but
I can't say they're fraudulent. The talent is clearly there.
Yeah.
But like they should be 4-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when they end up getting exposed, then they get bailed out. And it's just happened 2 weeks in a row. So we've seen it. Like
Cal also just like bungled the shit out of the end of this game.
oh yeah,
Again.
they couged it for sure.
Like Cal should be 5-0 if they had any clock management in the fourth quarter. Or brains when it comes to offensive play calling. But when I knew that Cal was in trouble though, it was after the first score they had in the second half when the fans were chanting overrated.
Ooh,
I was
yeah,
like, oh,
that'll do
you fucking idiots.
You done it.
That'll do it
What
every
are
time.
you doing?
You done
every
it.
single time.
I knew it. I didn't want to text it because I wanted to keep the gods happy, but I was like, oh shit, this is not good.
He's like, well, all right, there goes that. Like
Yeah.
you had your chance and you had to say something.
And I gotta give Cal fans a lot of credit. Game day last week was fucking electric.
The Calgorithm worked.
Oh my goodness. I did not expect that at all.
Mm-mm.
Epic. So good work. But man, blowing a what was it? 18-point lead in the fourth.
Yeah, not good.
17-point lead in the fourth. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. Navy at Air Force. Navy continuing to look very good.
Very good.
Navy
two of the military schools look really good.
Really, really good. Navy and Air Force, Navy and Army are both 5-0, undefeated through their first 5 games for the first time since 1944. Fucking cool.
The end of World War II.
Oh,
that was 34. Never mind.
No, it was
what?
It was 44. It was 44.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm an idiot. Don't worry.
Also, they were.
I knew I was right, and then I just kept talking. What?
Let's talk about the service schools were still in session as all the other schools whose players went off to fight the war.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
They were still making the officers.
Yeah. But both Navy and Army are winning convincingly.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see something real special because if you look at both of their schedules for the rest of the season, they've both got Notre Dame on there, but all of those other teams with how they've been playing, they are beatable. And we could have a very, very exciting, just absolute shit show in mid-December when everyone's played and the conference championships have happened. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's a legitimate path to the playoff for one of these teams.
I agree.
If they can pull off a Notre Dame upset, like there's legitimate path for a service school or two, probably not two, service school to get into the playoffs. Which
if either of these teams ends
with
undefeated,
Army Navy week being late.
If either of these teams ends undefeated, they will be in the playoff.
Yeah, and which is honestly dope. I hope
that would be sick. I would love that.
Yeah,
as long as Oregon's not the one that has to play them, because they both honestly look terrifying. And they run weird offenses that are just, it's hard to scheme against.
Yep.
Which is why they're being so successful, but it's kind of fun to watch.
Absolutely. It's at this point in the season when they're playing, it's must watch. Like,
can
just
you imagine? Can you imagine if we have an Army Navy game and they're both 11-0?
Oh my God, dude. And they're just like, it's coming down to that game. Winning in the playoff. Fuck that. Oh, Army Navy week is already sick as hell.
Yeah, I
but
mean, when
put that emphasis on it.
They're both 4 or 5
playoff
wins.
implications.
Playoff
implications on Army Navy.
I mean, I think they'd still have to
win.
Game. I think they'd still have to win the American Championship, right? Is there an American Conference Championship game?
I
I would assume there is. Almost every conference has one now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, there's 14 teams.
Isn't
They
Army
have to
Navy
have a
after
championship.
conference championship?
It
week?
is after conference championship week.
Oh.
So they could play each other in the conference championship.
They could play back-to-back weeks.
Uh-huh.
What?
Oh, God. That would be
Oh, so
sick,
if
dude.
one of them beats the other in championship week, and then they have to win it again
So
to go to the playoff, bro. Holy shit!
It'd be so sick.
and let's imagine a scenario where through their matchup, they're both one loss to each other after both walking through Notre Dame. And you're telling
You
the
have to pick
CFP,
it would have to be the conference champion.
Yeah.
then you
it would
sneak
have
the
to
other
be.
one in at
Well,
12.
I
You
mean,
sneak
probably-
the other one in at 12.
You know, there's probably going to be like an undefeated group of 5 champion somewhere.
I don't know, man.
Maybe
there
not.
aren't many undefeated teams left.
Boise State might do it after
Boise
the
State's
Oregon.
not undefeated.
But I mean, like undefeated in conference.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that however that gets there,
I'm
it'll
with
be exciting
Cameron.
if it does. Let's just sneak one of them in at 7 and
I'm-
the other one in
I'm-
at 12.
I'm with Cameron.
And-
If they're both undefeated going into conference championship week,
Guys, opposite sides of the tree championship game. Army Navy college football championship.
well,
They
they'd be
played each other
11 and
4
12.
times this season.
They'd be 11 and 12. They would be on opposite sides of the tree.
Yeah. Just
That would be insane. At like genuinely the most insane college football season of all time.
like can we
I think-
collude? Everyone gets out of the way at that point. Like
I think if they're both undefeated going into conference championship week, the playoff committee just needs to say you're both in.
Yeah.
I don't even care what happens the next 2 weeks.
Well,
You're
and
both in.
with how college football has gone.
well, no, you don't want
so
that
far-
because then they won't play as hard. They'll put in backups.
no, they won't.
That's fair.
Oh,
okay,
conference championship? Yeah, maybe.
No. The committee needs to just huddle together and secretly decide, not
Like,
tell anybody.
Guys, we're not going to tell anyone, but we
Well,
all
not-
know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, dude. I mean, and with how college football's gone, I mean, I don't know.
There's a path. There's a path.
There's a path, and I think if they both do their jobs and they've both looked like they can, yeah, we could have some real fun December football.
I mean, we're in October and it's college football, so
Who
we are
knows?
getting way fucking ahead of
Yeah,
ourselves. Fucking
but-
Alabama lost to Vanderbilt last week.
Yeah,
so
and
let's-
Hey,
the-
what? We're almost halfway through the season, right?
I mean, great. I love the speculation's part of the fun thing in sports, right?
Yeah,
now.
but
We talk about it
Jamie,
all the time.
Alabama losing to Vandy is the equivalent of both of these service schools being 5-0.
True.
So
That's fairly true.
I mean, if they both get through Notre Dame, I mean, they've got a long way to go. But
There's a path.
They also have like categorically way easier schedules than they used to. Like I remember Army and Navy always playing Big Ten teams,
yep,
and that has not happened.
I think the
This
Notre
year.
Dame game,
And
as long
isn't
as Notre Dame keeps rolling, will be good for both of them.
And it's happening in the next couple weeks for both of them.
Army's got 5 more games before that. 4
Yeah,
more.
that's true. Army is later. That one's in November, but Navy's coming up
Yeah, Navy's got 2 games.
the weekend that will be in Oregon.
Can you imagine the uniforms if all of this comes to fruition for those 2 service
Fuck.
schools? Nike
God.
is going to just pour the money on their uniforms.
They have to already be set though. Like they would just have to wear the uniforms from the
Army
Army
Navy.
Navy game. But yeah,
They'll give them an
anyway.
alternate set of those style.
Yep. Navy beat Air Force 34-7. Cameron did not go. There was some talk about that last week when we were live in person, but he did not.
Cameron woke up at 11, so
Cameron woke up after kickoff. And then Army beat Tulsa 49-7.
Yep.
So yeah, good for them. Utah State at Boise State. Ashton Genty started the game with like a 82-yard touchdown.
Dude, the guy had 160 something yards in the first half. Then like
Yeah.
didn't run after that. Like they just like benched him. They're like, all right, you're good. The dude, and the fact that he just stands in the backfield like a fucking menace. I don't know if
He's
you have you seen
I
this?
saw-
Yeah, like fucking Mike Myers. Just
Michael Myers.
He just
Yep.
like he's just like just stand just like
It looks
chilling.
like he's not even ready.
Yeah. And then he goes and just fucking stiff arms the fuck out of some 340-pound athletic freak.
didn't he bounce that dude off the turf?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
he was just like dribbling his head off the
There's a
ground.
man
Just-
amongst boys out there.
he might be one of the best running backs I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, people are comparing him to Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
And
Like all
hard
around
to
skill set,
disagree.
all around skill set is just absolutely insane.
It's insane. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It pisses me off because Travis Hunter should be running away with the Heisman discussion, and he's not. Because Ashton Genty's unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those years both of them would win a Heisman if it weren't for the other.
Here's where I'm at with it, and I'm very clearly a homer. Ashton Genty is the best stallion that you've got, right? Like he's the best horse amongst all the other horses. He's the best one out there. But Travis Hunter's a fucking unicorn. There's nothing like him. So that's where I'm at still with this discussion. Ashton Genty absolutely deserves all the Heisman hype that he's getting, but we've never seen anybody do what Travis Hunter's doing. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. I don't know.
The debate will carry on for weeks. We'll get there. But Ashton, I don't want that to sound like I'm taking anything away from fucking Ashton Genty because he is unbelievable. Can't we just be happy that it's not a QB we're debating about? Yes, absolutely. I love it.
Mhm.
I love that we're not just talking about what QB is on Alabama or Ohio State this year.
Yep.
Great. I love it. Good stuff. And then Hawaii at San Diego State. San Diego State won by 3. So Cameron and Eli both tied the spread because that was the spread.
Sweet.
So that was that. Let's get into this week.
Well, we didn't talk about records.
The records. Eli took over the lead in records by 1 game. At 107-25. I am 106-26. Cameron is 104-28. And Chris, who missed a week, is 78-30. In terms of the spread, it was a bad week for all of us.
Yes.
I am hovering above 500 barely. I'm hanging on by a thread. Although now with I already lost the first spread game of the fucking week. So I'm at 66-65 now and 2. Eli's at 67-61-4.
I've tied the spread 4 goddamn times.
Yep, crazy. Cameron is at 67-62-3, and Chris is at 54-54-2.
Wow.
So that's where we are at. Eli's on a 3-game win streak in his best bets. I am on a 4-game losing skid.
Jamie took him over my
I took
best
over
bet last
Eli's,
year.
and my best bet this week was Utah minus 5.5 because I saw Cam Rising coming back, and then
It could still happen. It could still
He
happen.
got hurt on the second play of the game.
I mean, they could still win though. It's 13-9.
They could win. They have to win by 5.5, or by 6. But yeah, they could. They could win. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's get into our picks. Start with the Big Ten. We all lost the first one already because Northwestern beat the shit out of Maryland.
I won the spread though.
You did win the spread. So good job,
Thanks.
I guess. Let me get to the Big Ten here. That game just finished, and the final score was 37-10, Northwestern. Yikers. So we all start 0-1 on the money line. That's crazy.
Nice.
Chris and I both lose the spread, and Eli and Cameron win their first.
We might start 0-2.
We might start 0-2. But that is a Big 12 game, and we're not talking about the Big 12 yet. We are talking about the Big 10. So tomorrow's slate starts with Washington at Iowa. Washington coming off their big win against Michigan. Iowa coming off a pretty crushing loss to Ohio State. What do you guys see happening this week? Iowa is a 3-point favorite.
I am in the minority here. I am the only one who is picking Iowa for both. One, because Happy I Hate Washington Day. Two, because I see a big game hangover versus an embarrassing loss that they want to avenge. I think there's a bounce back here by Iowa against a much worse defense. And that's not necessarily a knock on Washington's defense. Ohio State just has that good of a defense, right? So I am picking Iowa to have a bounce back, and I'm picking Washington to have a big game hangover. Even though Michigan's not that good this year, beating Michigan's a big deal.
It is. And Washington made T-shirts after that Michigan win. They clearly were making a big deal out of this
fucking cringe.
This nothing game. It's just such a cringy place. Like the whole thing's cringy.
Yeah.
That being said, I think Washington's going to take care of business here. I'm not confident in it at all. And now that I'm actually looking at statistics and what this game probably is going to be, I'm going to switch my pick to Iowa.
I was that compelling, huh?
I was actually looking at stats, but yeah, I mean, your first argument was the most compelling one.
It's the only argument I need.
It's
the only argument I need, Sean.
It's the only argument you need. So I'm rolling with Iowa. Go Hawkeyes. Cameron.
I picked UW across the board. And it makes me feel icky inside.
It should. You should feel ashamed.
It's not too late.
Shame. Shame.
It's fine. And when I win it, it'll be fine.
Chris also picked UW across the board. But he's a Beaver fan, so like
gross. He's gross.
I hope he's watching. He's definitely not. Wisconsin at Rutgers. Wisconsin.
I got Wisconsin.
Rutgers is a 2-point favorite in this, and I could be. I guess they could be. Rutgers is pretty good. Wisconsin's pretty mid.
Yeah,
but I'm
it's
picking
at
Wisconsin.
Rutgers, but I'm still picking Wisconsin.
Yeah, agreed. Chris did not. Chris picked Rutgers.
Chris picked Rutgers.
Silly goose.
USC hosting Penn State. Penn State's a 4-point favorite. It's a long way to go. It's 2-3 time zones away. I think that's gonna bite Penn State here. I'm picking USC to win.
All right. I'm taking the risk reward here. I'm picking Penn State to win, but by 3.
Yep. That was my exact thought when I picked it.
I think this has last second field goal written all over it. I feel like this is going to be a down, dirty game.
Here's why I don't feel confident about my pick. USC has clearly struggled to handle the physicality in the Big Ten, and that showed up both against Michigan, but especially last week against Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Drummer Doug said, Penn State should just run the ball all afternoon. Yeah, they should, and they should be able to. I'm just hoping that they're asleep coming off the bus, I guess. Is where I'm at. Purdue at Illinois. Illinois is a 22.5-point favorite, and Purdue is really fucking bad.
Yep.
So Illinois it is, and we are inching closer to me getting slapped while I'm in fucking Eugene.
Just mathematically slapped.
Although, in order to get slapped in Eugene, Illinois would have to either beat Michigan or Oregon.
Ooh.
So I might survive until we are in Madison.
Might.
Maybe there's a shot that they start 5-1
They could beat Michigan.
and lose their last 6.
Who do they have left on the schedule? I gotta check.
Purdue, Michigan, Oregon, Minnesota, Michigan State, Rutgers, and Northwestern.
Ooh, buddy.
Hey, man, Northwestern just crushed. Fuck, I can't even say it with feeling good about it.
Oh yeah, they did just beat Maryland. Good example, Jamie.
And the Michigan State
Jamie's
is
rubbing his face because he feel the echoes of the slap coming already.
just like, please keep teeth in my mouth. That's
It'll
all
be
I'm
fine.
asking for.
It'll be fine.
As long as he'll buy you froyo after because that's the tradition.
That's the tradition.
It is the
Slap you in the
tradition.
face, then you get froyo.
This will be the second time you slap me on a podcast.
Goddamn right it is.
This is why I don't make
Fucking-
slap bets.
Fucking Giants World Series in 2012.
That was a crazy pick, though,
Bastards.
too.
Yeah, it was.
That was a
Yeah, but you had
crazy-
math on your side. It was an
True.
odd year
Yep. Yeah, I did.
or an even year. Anyway, Purdue big or Illinois big, sorry, in this one.
I agree.
22.5 is large, but man, is Purdue bad.
Yes.
Minnesota at UCLA. This game is happening at 7:00 Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Central.
Yum.
Or 8 p.m. Central for Minnesota. Not only do they have to cross 2 time zones, they got to play Big Ten after dark.
Yeah, I got
It's
UCLA
gross.
on this
I'm
one.
not doing that.
No, I got UCLA on this. I think UCLA is an underrated team. I think Minnesota's riding high off their last win, and it's super late. I think that plays a factor here.
I think the 2 time zones and the late game and everything you said, I agree with you. I'm picking the Bruins.
Go Gophs.
Go Golfs.
Go Gophs. That's probably the safe pick.
Just because.
We're going with the upset.
Yeah.
And then that brings us to the Big Ten game of the week, the national game of the week, the game that we have been looking forward to since the schedule came out. Ohio State coming to Eugene. We got game day in Eugene. The game that's stealing all the headlines. Buddy, this game has been impossible for me to pick all fucking week because every time I convince myself of one way or the other, 10 minutes later, I convince myself the other way.
Yeah, I've been flip-flopping and flip-flopping and flip-flopping and flip-flopping. And I have settled on Ohio State winning and covering just because it's a 3. I don't really have a great reason except for like in my head, right? So here's my reasoning here is okay. I'll give you my real reasoning. If Ohio State wins and Oregon loses, I still win something. It gives me a little bright spot in my life. If Oregon wins, I will take this L every goddamn day. I'm still winning. This is a win-win for me. One is definitely a better win than the other. But like I don't know. I think it's hard for me to wrap my head around as like a lifelong Oregon fan. And like, going through being an Oregon fan in the 90s and the, early 2000s, even less, but still, of like even during the rest of just being an Oregon fan, I guess in general, when it comes to these big games, we've lost more than we've won. And I think there is a mentality in my head that I can't get over yet to pick Oregon to win this game. On paper, Oregon should win this game. I don't know about easily, but I think Oregon should win this game at home. With the talent they have, if any team has the talent to run with Ohio State, it's Oregon. The defensive line against Ohio State's specifically right side of their offensive line is a great matchup. On paper, I think Oregon should probably win this game. I think there's a mental block being a lifelong Oregon fan that I can actually like full in pick Oregon here.
Yeah, that's valid. It is terrifying picking Oregon in this game for all of the same reasons. But when I try to sit down and objectively look at this, I think on paper, these teams are very similar. You have two dominant defenses. You've got two outstanding receiving cores. And then you have offensive lines and running backs that when they're clicking can do whatever they want. The keys to this game, to me, come down to two different things. First, Autzen. I don't think, as much as Chip Kelly's probably trying to prepare them for it, as much as they're hearing about how loud Autzen is, I don't think anybody can adequately prepare themselves for the atmosphere that is going to be Autzen on Saturday.
Yeah.
You hear it time and time again. Any of those USC quarterbacks from the late 2000s, early 2010s, all of them say it is stunning how miserably loud that place is.
Yeah.
You know, you go back to Michigan when they came in early 2000s, 2003,
Rich Rod.
I think it was, with Rich Rod, talking about how it's the places
Place
that
where
great good teams go to die. You go back to Michigan State in 2014 when the freaking beat reporter was saying that they were piping in sound because they couldn't actually believe that it was as loud as it is.
Yeah.
Right? Like there are just countless examples of people being shocked at how loud and intimidating Autzen Stadium is.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it, and the first thing that came to mind was the Halloween game.
Yeah.
Like when that quarterback came in, like before, was like, no, it's not loud. Like it's not going to be that loud. It's not going to be distracting. And the stadium was a key part in that game.
Yeah, I mean, Autzen, like they say
Booty?
home. They say home. What?
Was that Booty? The Halloween
No,
game?
it was.
No, it was
Mark Sanchez.
No, it was
No.
someone younger.
Between those two.
Oh.
Torsten, who was it?
Fuck me. Fuck. What's
Matt?
Blondie?
Matt.
Blondie.
Yeah, Blondie, pretty boy. Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley.
There you go. Appreciate you.
Thank
Way to
you,
go, drummer
Torsten.
duck.
Fucking A. I could picture him. Like
Yeah.
I have
A stupid
the whole
face saying
thing.
it's not going to be an
You're
issue.
right. It was Matt Barkley.
Yeah.
Autzen, like they say home field's worth 3. Autzen's worth 6, right? Like in an atmosphere like this that I think it's going to be on Saturday. This is going to be retro Autzen, right? Like I think this is going to be something that building hasn't seen probably since that 2009 or 2014 Michigan State game.
Sorry, I'm just looking at that game. Oregon ran for nearly 400 yards.
Yeah, I mean, again, just an insane football game. So
There's our guy.
So there you are, Chris. I'm banking on Autzen on Saturday, and I'm hearing worrying stories about how many Ohio State fans are going to be there.
I saw pictures on Twitter of like the beer stein, just nuts to butts, Buckeyes.
And now here's the thing with that, right? Like, okay, that's what happens when you get any sort of decent amount of fans
Absolutely
going, right? Like they're going to take over a few places. I don't think this is going to be something like 40% of the stadium is Buckeyes. It's going to be a lot more than we want.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into that discussion in a minute because I have a question for you two. But this game's going to come down to both Autzen and Dillon Gabriel in particular, because I think Dillon Gabriel is a better quarterback than Will Howard, and I don't think it's really close. I touched on it in my analysis earlier. Will Howard, if you pressure him at all, which if this Oregon defense can do anything, it's get after the fucking quarterback. And that D line is an animal. Will Howard is borderline bad if you get him under pressure. And Dillon Gabriel, while he's thrown some picks, he has the escapability and the poise under pressure that he has shown throughout his college career that I think is key in games like this. Now, obviously, you can't turn the ball over in the red zone or turn the ball over really at all in games like this. Whichever team wins the turnover battle is probably going to win this football game. But if you're going to give me Will Howard or give me Dillon Gabriel, I'm going to take Dillon Gabriel and I'm going to take Autzen, and I'm going to bet on the Ducks to win this one, but I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah. I gotta go with Oregon. Like this one's always gonna be a heart pick for me. For very much the same reasons that Eli can, kind of block that. And then he's got that same. I mean, I've been an Oregon fan my entire life. I can't not pick him. There's definitely a side of me. I was talking to Jamie earlier today where, my head could really make an argument for either team based on what we've seen. And I think there's some keys for especially Dillon Gabriel to winning this game. And I think, playing a little bit more clean. And then he's got the abilities that Will Howard just seems to lack, like you said, when he gets pressured. And if we can see those things come to fruition and then you get the stadium involved, I think Oregon win it. I don't think by any means it's going to be a blowout. I think 3 points either way is realistic, and it's going to be a struggle or whoever scores first. I mean, Ohio State has been slow to start. And I think that, if we can take advantage of that early on in the first, get 10 points in the first quarter and then just kind of hold them off. And that's a strategy that can work for us. So that's be justifying really the pick with my heart. And, Eli can win either way. I just really want to win big. I want it all. I'm gonna have my cake.
I have a question for you two regarding the Autzen fan situation. What do you think the moral obligation as a fan is to not sell your ticket to a game like this? If you're a season ticket holder and you get these tickets, and let's just say they're face value, right? They're $70 ticket, whatever it is. And you get offered $600 a piece, which is what they're going for. What is your moral obligation to not do that for a situation like this for your team? Where do you stand?
Depends on your situation.
Most season ticket holders probably aren't too strapped for cash.
Yeah.
So we can make a few assumptions, right? Let's just say you're not like hurting for money, and it would be nice to have the extra cash, but you don't necessarily need it.
For me, I'm not selling them, right? Like, I'm going to this is a game as if you are a Oregon Duck fan, you're going to this game.
That's it to me. Like, if you are a season ticket holder, like you have dedicated enough of your life to be a season ticket holder at Oregon, this is why you're a season ticket holder.
Yeah, I think you look at the schedule as a season ticket holder and you go, all right, I might sell 3 of my other games, get back my cost on the tickets, and I'm going to the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris says, I don't care about the money and I'm broke. The memory is priceless. I agree with that. For me, like, there's no shot I would ever sell these tickets.
I just
I'm not
feel
gonna
like
judge people like if they were like fell on hard times and sold the tickets.
Okay, if you've fallen on hard times, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you're like if you're sitting with
fine.
people
If you don't need money,
and you're just like, I could use the extra $1,000 and
you
sell it.
You can only sell them to Duck fans.
Yeah. There'd have to be a caveat. And I've seen, like, to CU's credit, I've seen CU fans do this all over Twitter. They're like, I'm not going to the game, but I'm not selling this on StubHub. Can a CU fan please take my ticket?
Yeah.
And I think Oregon fans do it too.
If I'm not strapped for cash, I would rather if I can't make it, I would rather give my ticket to an Oregon fan than
100%.
sell it to an Ohio State
I'm
fan.
glad we're on the same page, because I think there's going to be more than I would like Ohio State fans that bought tickets from Oregon fans.
Yeah.
I think that sucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because Autzen needs to, like, this is a game where, like, the team needs you. Like, it's very rare that you can say that, but, like, Autzen has to be the difference on Saturday. Yeah. And I hope it is. I hope we watch this on TV and the camera's shaking. Like, the game that made me decide to even apply to Oregon was the 2007 USC game. And the fucking camera was shaking because that building was rocking so much.
Because the booze on that phantom pass interference. I know the play you're talking about.
That one. And then, yeah. And I just, Autzen needs to be the difference on Saturday, and I hope it is. Here's the bright spot for Oregon fans, right? I think we're all looking at this and freaking out about this game a little bit through the lens of what college football was, which was a loss to Stanford in 2012 in the regular season, is what kept you out of the national championship game. This is not that. Right? So if Oregon loses this game, the season's not far from over.
Oh, yeah. It's not a disaster. We get blown out. It's maybe a little different.
Potentially a disaster, but still one loss. If you take care of business the rest of your schedule, like, one loss is not going to do it this year.
So to kind of bring back what we've said in the past and what Eli has said, especially through like the first 3 games, if Oregon wins this one, do they move up from kind of your fringe playoff team? And I mean, if they lose, then it's like, all right, they're still kind of at that fringe level. But if they win and have a fairly decent outlook, does that move them up as far as the team's build and kind of future for the season? Or
I mean, if they win this game, it means that they've clicked, right? Like that is the sign that I need, that like they've clicked as a team, they've made it, especially if they beat, like, if they can move the ball really well against this really incredible, this is the best defense Oregon's going to face all season by a long shot.
By a lot.
Yeah. By a long shot. So if it means they've clicked at that point, and that means they're a playoff team for sure in my mind, right? Gotcha. Like, that's when I move that needle.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I sit here as a fringe playoff team because, like, again, I'm picking them to, like, not win this game. So it's like, in my mind, there's still that fringe playoff. Well, Ohio State's more of like the lock playoff team. I think whoever wins this game is a playoff team. So they are a playoff team, right?
Barring injuries or crazy shit.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Yeah. Like, this is the put up or shut up kind of moment. Maybe not fully, but like, if Oregon loses this game, they need to lay it out on the field for the rest of the season.
There's no more room.
Yeah. They've still got the path, but they need to stomp through.
And if it's a bad loss, then they need to stomp through, and it needs to not be a bad loss the second time.
Yeah. I agree.
If it's a great win, then all systems go. Good things happening. This is essentially a playoff game. The level of competition is what we'll see in the playoffs. So it's as much about the win as it's about being able to show up. Yeah, I mean, that's valid, right? I think that's a valid way to look at it. Chris, if Autzen had an obstructed view seat, I would purchase that season ticket just to sell it to every away fan.
That'd be hilarious.
That's pretty good.
You want to go to the Oregon Ohio State game? $1,000.
$1,000
sitting behind a pole.
Yeah.
I mean, we almost have some obstructed view seats. on the south side, right up against the box at the top.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Yeah,
Set them right behind the sousaphones.
this game just needs to happen. Like I don't like the lead up to these, and we got to wait all day Saturday for it. All right. Good stuff. So that's the Big Ten. Then we get on to the game that Cameron and I will be attending. That is Kansas State at Colorado. Colorado obviously coming off the big win at UCF 2 weeks ago, had a bye week last week. Kansas State coming into town, one of the favorites in the Big 12, but they have that huge blemish on their resume, which was that blowout loss at BYU. Kansas State is a 3.5-point favorite. Now it's down to 3-point favorite as we sit here today. Folsom's going to be fucking crazy Saturday night.
Yeah, 8:15 kick.
8:15 kick. You give that student section, which for Oregon fans is about 2 or 3 times as big as Oregon's student section.
And they're rowdy this year.
You give them all that time to ramp up. Folsom's going to be rocking Saturday night. I'm taking the Buffs. Kansas State profiles very similar to UCF in the way that they play. Their pass defense is like 108th in the country. It's really bad. They try to run the ball on you a lot, and that's what UCF was supposed to be able to do. Kansas State's just better at it than UCF is. So I don't want to say that Kansas State is equivalent, but they profile very similar. And Colorado coming off of this, fully healthy coming into this weekend. I just think there's too many weapons, especially in that wide receiver core and with Shedeur throwing for Kansas State to keep up. But this is a very even matchup. Like this feels like a 28-27 type game to me. That's going to come down to the fourth quarter. But give me Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter in crunch time if that's what it comes down to.
My big matchup with any Colorado game this year is going to be pass rush. Right. UCF, for all intents and purposes, has 0 pass rush this year. I think they still have 1 or 2 sacks on the season.
Yep.
Right. Their pass rush is atrocious, and they were still getting to Shedeur. And if Shedeur wasn't as incredible as he played against UCF, we're talking about a much different game there, right? Like Shedeur had to be Superman in that game to get that ball off. The CU offensive line cannot pick up a blitz. They don't know how to do it. I think I said this last week. It's like they don't know what the word is, right? And so I have a really hard time picking the Buffs to win against a competent pass rush. Like Kansas State isn't going to blow your doors off. They're not going to get 8 sacks. It's not the Nebraska pass rush, right? But they're competent. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They get there. So I really struggle picking Colorado against a really competent pass rush. So that's where I sit with this game. Again, I feel like it's going to be really close. If this was in Kansas State, I think I wouldn't have this at, close, but I'm going to take Kansas State real close though. I think it's going to be a fun game. But I struggle when it comes to that offensive line. I struggle. I don't think Shedeur is going to have any time to get it to the playmakers. They're going to have to be really creative. So I struggle. I struggle with picking them when it's like that. So
that's fair.
Yeah, all valid points. But I'm picking CU because I enjoy going to games where the team wins that I'm rooting for. Mm-hmm. And when I have to watch the Oregon-Ohio State game from a parking lot, then the team that I'm going for better fucking win. I'm just, calling it like it is.
Yep, I like it. Chris also picked Kansas State. probably for a lot of the same reasons.
Yep.
I would imagine. Utah at Arizona State is happening right now. I don't know where we're at.
Utah is now up by 3.
Oh,
Late in the
Utah
third.
up by 3 late in the third. That's good for me. I need them to be up by 6, but we're trending in the right direction for my best bet, which is Utah minus 5.5. So obviously I have Utah winning and covering, and so do all of you.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Arizona at BYU. I don't really know what to make of either of these teams yet. Still,
we're halfway into their seasons, and I have no idea what these teams are.
like, I just can't buy BYU yet. I don't know why. I just can't.
I can't buy Arizona either. So
I
what I'm
definitely
doing
can't buy Arizona
for this game is I'm picking BYU because that home field advantage is insane right now. So I am picking BYU for literally because of the home field advantage. That is it.
Yeah,
they play so goddamn good at home. That's why I'm picking them.
I picked Arizona, and I just flipped a coin. Is why.
But they're not the home team, Jamie.
They're not the home team. I usually pick the home team. I
feeling this one.
I have a hard time believing that Arizona is like not good with Noah Fafita and McMillan. Like, I just have a hard time believing that. But they got absolutely destroyed by Kansas State. So, like, and lost to Texas Tech, who I'm also not high on.
Yeah.
So I'm not very confident in this pick, but I'm going to keep it because if I changed it, then I would lose. And so I'm keeping it. Not confident in it at all. Iowa State at West Virginia. West Virginia coming off a huge win at Oklahoma State. Iowa State off to a really strong start, 5-0 at number 11 in the country. After all the craziness that happened last week, Iowa State is a 3-point favorite on the road. I'm picking the Cyclones.
Me dose. I really like what I've seen out of them this year. So,
yeah.
That is one of the Big 12 teams that I'm glad Colorado misses this season. Yeah. I'm all right with that. On to the SEC, South Carolina at Alabama. Alabama obviously coming off their most crushing loss in recent memory. South Carolina is kind of a menace to teams this year, but not record-wise. Alabama's a 21.5-point favorite. I'm picking Alabama to win this, but not cover. That Bama defense is problematic.
Yeah, same kind of reason I had Iowa winning against Washington. I think this is a bounce back, prove your worth kind of game.
Yeah, fair.
I have Bama going on all of it.
Yeah, I got Bama. I think I'm with Jamie. 21 points is a lot.
It's a lot.
I don't know if their offense is going to keep up with that. And the defense is going to let some stuff through. They shouldn't. But I still think, Bama by 17 is probably.
Yeah.
I think
14, 17, somewhere in that range feels right.
Yep.
Texas at Oklahoma, Red River rivalry resumes in the SEC now.
Rivalry.
Quinn Ewers returns for Texas. Oklahoma on a bit of a skid. The line is Texas minus 14.5. It's minus 15 now. I got Texas winning and covering, but I'm less confident about it now than I was when I picked this.
I'm pretty confident about it. I have Texas winning. I have Texas winning big. I have not been impressed with Oklahoma this year. I think Venables is a good coach. I think he's going to get them on the right track. I don't think they're there yet. I think Texas is really good. I know Quinn Ewers has been sitting for a couple weeks, but he's a great quarterback. Oklahoma has their holes. I think Texas comes out, makes a statement.
I mean, Texas should destroy. Like, if you're just
Yeah.
looking on paper, Texas should murder Oklahoma.
It is a rivalry game, though. So
This
you never
game
really know.
always, I don't care when it is, what conference they're in, this game always has some weirdness.
Always delivers.
Yep. With Texas. Cross board.
Chris picked Texas and Oklahoma to cover. Florida at Tennessee. Tennessee's a 14.5-point favorite. Tennessee obviously coming off of that disappointing loss at Arkansas last week, returning home against Florida. I think Tennessee wins this and covers.
Oh, you changed your pick, huh?
Yeah, you got Florida.
Oh, no.
Good.
Yeah, I got Florida beating the spread. This is 2 UTs in a row. So I was looking at the
gotcha.
I looked at the UT line. Tennessee wins, Florida covers.
I got Tennessee all the way around. Again, theme of the week, I think bounce backs happen. Tennessee at home.
Scatterbo just scored a touchdown.
Yep. Tennessee at home. I like it. Florida hit and miss. So I'm going Tennessee all the way.
Yeah, I got Tennessee at home. Pissed off. They're gonna stomp them Gators.
Never beat a real SEC team.
They're gonna stomp them Gators. Turn them into boots.
Man, what a fucking run. Did you guys see that? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Scatterbo's a cheat code.
He's crazy. Ole Miss at LSU. Ole Miss is a 3.5-point favorite. LSU is crazy good at home, especially at night. But I'm picking the Rebels.
Bounce backs.
Yeah,
Bounce backs this week. I got Miss.
Yeah, I picked LSU because it's Death Valley at night.
That's fair.
Sometimes that's all the reason I need.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
That's what I got.
All-timer fan interaction, Eli. Yep. The you will never beat an SEC team thing.
You will never beat an SEC team.
What are
We're winning right now.
I was wicked hungover for that game.
Yes,
Yeah,
you were.
Jeff was even worse.
Dude.
I'm happy
how
to
we
be
did.
here. What was that? I'm happy to be here.
I'm just happy to be here. I'm just
Don't
happy
get
to
me
be
wrong.
here.
I'm miserable, but I'm happy to be here. Where the
Dude.
fuck he said?
Dude, that was the last time I think the group of us could house 2 handles of Fireball.
Woo, buddy.
I forgot about that.
That was back in the day.
Yeah,
That was the first time I ever met your dad, Jamie.
as it was. Crawling to the toilet. To throw
Yep,
up.
and then crawling back out.
That's true. On to the ACC. Cal, after their very disappointing loss to Miami, travels all the way across the country to face undefeated Pitt. I started this week picking Cal in this one, but their epic collapse, like losing to Florida State and then the epic collapse last week, I just don't see a bounce back effort happening when they have to go across 3 time zones. I don't see it in this one. So I'm picking Pitt to win and cover.
It's redemption week, baby.
Eli's going full redemption mode.
Full redemption week. I got Cal winning.
I also have Cal winning, but just because Marshawn Lynch was hilarious last week, and I'd like to see him get more involved.
Solid reasoning. I love it.
You know, sometimes people's side quests are more entertaining than what they're actually doing.
Chris also picked Cal. Washington State at Fresno State in a future Pac-12 battle. Washington State's a 3.5-point favorite. I think they win and cover.
I think they win.
Yeah.
and cover.
Yeah.
It's a 3-point game now. 3-point favorite.
Yeah.
Oregon State travels to Nevada. Oregon
Nevada.
State is a 3-point favorite. That feels wickedly low. Like I
Yes.
probably could have made this my best bet. I think
agree.
Oregon State
I
wins.
thought about it. for sure.
I think Oregon State wins this by 2 touchdowns or more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think a line at like 10.5 would have been better.
Yeah. San Jose State at Colorado State. This game started with San Jose State having a 1.5 point edge. It is now at Colorado State -1. I'm picking the Rammies at home to win and obviously cover.
Same.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool.
I'll do it.
See if that stayed. CSU off. What? Okay, so they're saying it's. What does that mean?
Canceled?
Spread is CSU off. What does that mean?
Offsetting.
Don't they usually say like push or something? I don't know what off means. Somebody that bets. What the fuck does off stand for? I'm just gonna say it's a push, but I'm gonna pick CSU to win, I guess.
Gonna start the Blazers post-game show, and if you might just pipe this audio through and get it on air, ratings bump.
I love that.
Just keep your hand on the dump button.
So
We do swear.
I think that means that the spread on offer. So it looks like they're just holding the spread now. So it's just not there. I don't know. That's weird. I haven't seen that
saying
before.
it's a
I've bet
push.
lot.
Then. So whoever wins this game wins the spread, but we all
All right.
picked CSU. Chris picked San Jose State. So 3 of us picked CSU. Chris going San Jose State. And then we end the night with Boise State traveling to Hawaii. Always tough just with the travel, but Boise State is going to roll.
Yeah.
Boise State's gonna roll real hard.
Yeah.
That's
Genty
what
doesn't
Jesse-
care about jet lag or time zones or defensive lines or.
He might have 225 yards on 3 carries and 3 touchdowns the first 3 offensive plays of
He
Boise
might not
State
get
tonight.
tackled.
Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be he's probably going to be benched after a quarter.
Yeah.
With 5 touchdowns and something ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Into the first quarter, he'll have 3 touchdowns, 400 yards. And he'll be done.
He'll be
Thanks,
sleeping.
Helmet. I love this jersey. This is like top 2 Oregon jerseys of all time. The other one they only
Wow.
wore once.
Ohana.
Yeah.
Johanna's great.
Ohana needs to come back.
And it was during COVID. Like, what a disservice to that
Right.
jersey.
Dude. Bring it back.
I gotta hope. And because we'll never know, that we would have won it against Hawaii.
Do you think?
Nah, I guess we would have been the away team. We would have been light colors.
Oh, you mean on that away game? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't think they would have.
Dude, could you imagine if they came out with white Ohana jerseys?
Oh my god,
Fuck.
that would be nuts.
You wanna make some money? Do that.
Yeah.
That brings up another thing. Jamie and I were talking today about like shoes and
Mhm.
how Oregon needs like Nike needs to like sell good collegiate team shoes. Like not the random Air Max lines that don't sell, and then Pegasus shoes. Like we need some like low dunks or like Jordans
Dude, we need dunks.
or Air
man.
Force Ones, like some low.
They had like a
dunks
dunk. They had
would
like the
be-
limited release thing with the dunks today, but like do something that we
Yeah.
can actually buy.
Like I
Oh,
like
speaking
the,
of shoes, I went to the doctor today for a checkup, and he was wearing the
Pick Crew Jordan 3s.
He wasn't wearing the Pick Crew ones, but he was wearing the Jordan 3s.
Nice.
Jordan 3s are amazing. I don't even care what colorway it is. Those are
Yeah.
incredible shoes.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I go on eBay just to make sure those Pick Crew Jordan 3s are still there. And they are.
Still worth a lot.
Still worth a lot, but not worth $6,000. Not in the
No.
10 years that they've been on eBay.
Nope. Nope. That's that. Best bets. I have Utah -5.5 looking real bad. Eli has San Diego State -1.
Against Wyoming. Wyoming's real bad.
Oh,
San
that's
Diego
a good
State's
one.
okay.
I don't know how I missed that one. That's a real good one.
I got that one in. Didn't get Utah in because I thought you were doing Texas,
Sweet.
but
Does that mean I can change it?
no, I mean, I did when Arizona State was up 13-9. I took them -2 for little funsies. So now I'm stressing the points on this game.
Utah, disappointing. Disappointing. That's that. That's football.
Oh, we got
It's going to be a crazy weekend. The
did
lineup's
it.
insane. We've been looking forward to this weekend in particular in the college football lineup, not just because of the Oregon game, but the games across the board are just great. So
yeah, and I mean, if last week taught us anything, who the fuck knows what's going to happen every
who
weekend?
the fuck knows?
Like last week was supposed to be a snore, and now we're talking about redemption tours for half those teams.
Yep.
And Eli's betting on them. So
I'm going hard redemption week.
hard redemption week.
Hard redemption week. All right. I did the buzzer beater last week. Eli, you are up.
Okay.
Listener, viewer, thanks for hanging out with us. It's a Friday night. You guys rock. Super producer Cameron, thank you for all you do to keep this video feed looking sharp. Say bye, Cameron.
Bye, Cameron.
Zeta June, thanks for letting us use your music in the outro. You guys are dope. Go vibe out to some good Zeta June music. And until next week, Eli, what is your buzzer beater?
It's easy. Easy this week. My buzzer beater is Go Ducks, beat the Buckeyes, baby.
Deuces.